All right, we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Candid Convos. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Y'all know that we are streaming live. I try to give a couple minutes, not a long time, but a few minutes for those of you who all are watching to come on in and say hello. Dr. Cassandra, if you would, we always try to take the first few minutes to share. It's broadcasting live from our Catapult Youth public page. It's also broadcasting live from my personal page as well as from the Catapult You closed Facebook group. So feel free to share it from any of those pages on your pages, and we'll give the people some time to come in. If y'all are there, say hello so Cassandra know it's not just she and I talking to each other. It's gonna be a great show today. So y'all come on in and say hello. I see we have some people coming in watching. Y'all come on, say hey to us. Y'all know how we do. Don't be shy. It's helpful for us to know that y'all are here. I see that I'm already broadcasting on my page, which is good. So I don't have to worry about trying to find a way to stream it there. Y'all say hey to us. Cassandra, I know you use StreamYard as well. So I still haven't figured out a way to see who's watching up front.
I know. Me
always
either.
say hello after.
Me either.
But we're gonna go ahead and get started. I see some people's coming in. Y'all, while y'all are coming in, say hey to us. We want y'all to like and share, like and share, like and share. This is the Catapult You Show, Candid Convos. I'm Candace Alynn. We're gonna get started. So y'all go ahead and share, 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 share. We want this people to see us going forward. And I see we've got some likes. We see some hearts out there. Y'all sit tight. If y'all on y'all lunch break or y'all at work, plug your headphones in and listen. It's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna give a few more minutes for some of our faithful viewers to come in, and then we'll go from there. Give me one more second, Cassandra.
Oh, no problem. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. I love to have you. If y'all are here, say hey to me so I know y'all are here. Me and Cassandra, we see that there are some people that are watching. We don't know who you are. So just come in the comments and say hi. If you're in the closed Facebook group, you have to give us permission to see your comments. So let us know who you are so we know you're watching. But let's get to it, Cassandra, because I don't like to spend a lot of time begging folk to watch. I know it's people's lunch hour. So what normally happens is we have a handful of people that watch. Hey, Dr. Matissa, she's here. She's one of our favorite guests, and she's gonna be great. We normally give people a few minutes to say hello and join in. But what we found is even those who can't watch during their lunch break or during the day, they go back and they share or they watch it later. So let's get into it. For those of you who are watching for the first time, this is Candid Conversations or Candid Convos, which I like to emphasize the can because that's me. I'm Candace Alynn. I am the host. I am the owner of Duvernay Enterprises, and we are the parent company of Catapult You. Catapult You is an organization that focuses on helping propel women to their optimal level of work-life balance. There are so many people out there who say that work-life balance is not possible. We believe that it is possible for women to have work-life balance. Now that looks different for every woman. For some people, it may mean 40% of the time I'm at work, 60% of the time I'm at home. For other women, that may be a 25, 25, 25, 25 split, depending on the different things that they're juggling. But we believe that work-life balance is possible for you. And this is just one resource that our page has is a weekly show for you all to kind of talk about things that are maybe impediments to getting you to work-life balance so that we can hopefully give you the resources to go forward. So that's what Candid Combos is. And this week we are talking about You 2.0, strategies to become your best self or a better version of yourself. And here's how we got on this topic. Y'all know I love to talk about the topic before we go down the rabbit hole of the show. And if you all are following our group, we are doing Self-Care September. And what happened was I was having a lot of women who I'm interacting with, whether it's in work or my personal life. And there's been this feeling or sense of overwhelm. I don't know if it's because school has started back. I don't know if there's a change. Hey, Chris. Hey, hey. I don't know if there's a change of seasons or what is going on, but the women have been very bogged down in my personal life. And I have too. Y'all know I lost 25 pounds, but I'm getting a little bit chunkier because there have been some things that I've not been doing recently that I had been doing before. So what we said was we're going to do a self-care September where we can focus on one thing that we can do in our lives to make a huge change. And the women were so excited, they got on board. And I thought it would be great to have you, Dr. Cassandra, to help us think about how to become our best self. Hey, Tosh, that's my sister cousin. How do we become our best self? And so you did a show a couple of weeks ago on your page called You 2.0, which I thought was great. And I thought it would be great to kind of incorporate that with our Catapult You tribe and try to help us figure out how do we become our best self. So before we get into that first question, why don't you introduce yourself to the watchers, the viewers, so they know who we have with us?
Hi, everyone. I'm just so passionate about helping people when it comes to healthy relationships and equipping people with knowledge and skills for just having thriving relationships in all areas of their lives. I'm a marriage and family therapist. I've done a lot of community based participatory research, working with parents and children, very passionate about that. I'm also a psychology professor as well. So I teach the psychology of love, I teach personal relationships and human development from conception to death. So this is my heart's work, and it's just such an honor to be able to serve in this capacity.
Well, we're so thankful that you're here, and our tribe is comprised of different women. Dr. Masitza, she's watching. She's actually a professor of sociology, so that's cool that you're here in that lane. But let's get right to it, Cassandra. So when we talk about You 2.0, how do we figure out what is the best way to, or what the best version of ourselves is, right? Because we have the world telling us it's, being looking this way or having these things or having the optimal job or the best fitness or whatever. And so there's all these things and all these messages that are kind of bombarding us and falling down on us. I was talking to one of my girlfriends a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not a therapist, so I hope I didn't give her bad advice. But she was talking about she has all this stuff that she wants to do. And I said, sis, right now, everything you want to do, whether it's start a business, go to school, get a boo, whatever, right now, everything that you have, and just start charting a course towards that. Because if you don't know where you want to go, like my dad would say, he heard it years ago, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And so I gave her the advice of literally right now, everything you want to do, everything you want to be, and let's start going towards it. Was that good advice or was that a little too ambitious?
No, I think that you need to have clarity on what you want to accomplish. And I just think you definitely want to kind of check your motives. Like you were saying before, you don't want it to be anything of comparison, but you want it to be your own true identity and being able to operate at that next level. I think that we all know that there's more in us. So where is the separation between where you are today and where you want to be? Like, what does that look like? How do you want to serve completely? And you and I talk a lot. Yesterday we talked a lot, and I really think a lot of that is. I'm also a faith-based counselor as well, and I think really truly understanding your identity and your purpose, and having a desire to be as well equipped to fulfill that in the earth. I think that's also very critical as well. And so, you want to have 100% clarity on who that is, so that it's not a missing target. And
Right.
so when you write that down, then it has materialized. And then that's one step of accountability for you too. And it's not some abstract thing that is running around in your mind, but you have a few parameters to kind of hold yourself accountable to. And so I think that it's really critical, to have clarity on who that person is and having a holistic view of yourself, right? Not just, I think oftentimes in our culture, we're so career driven, but there's wholeness. You want to have a comprehensive understanding of what the next level of your life looks like and what is required of you. Who do you need to be? What are the internal changes that you need to do to be in a place to kind of operate at that level?
I love that. Hey, cousin Talise, that's another my sister cousin. She's watching. Hey, cuz, I love you. I love what you said about being your whole self because I
Mhm.
think that's why God gave me Catapult You. It was
Yeah.
birthed from a desire to be not just Candace the lawyer, not just Candace the mama, not just Candace the praise and worship singer. I'm not a blower, but I get up there and praise. You know, there was a burning desire to be all of those things. And there were people in the world, whether it was through subliminal messages or outright right saying it, that you cannot have all of it. And I
Right.
just refuse to believe that,
Right.
because if the desire was there,
Right.
you know.
Right, right. And you don't want to be constrained because
Right.
there's something bigger in you, and you want to bust out of that. And even sometimes, even the mental limitations that we have on ourselves, it's not just one lane. I remember one person, Bishop Bronner, he said that God wouldn't give you twins and make you choose.
Mm,
So if your vision is big and it's not just one thing, you know, and then you can do both. But sometimes it's kind of dedicating time at one particular time and knowing the time, what's seasonal and things of that nature. And I think that's very critical and important. But it doesn't have to be one dimensional because we're not unidimensional. And
right.
so, being in, and I see the thing about it is when we know who we are and we have a true sense of our identity. I'm still who I am in the courtroom. I'm still who I am at home. I'm not in the courtroom like you though. I'm who I am in
Right.
every place that I go, with every role that I take on. And I think that, and I think sometimes too, we ascribe so much to what we're doing instead of who we are as
Come
individuals.
on.
And so I think that, we have to understand that who I am isn't dependent on what I do every day.
Right.
And that's just an extension, that's just an expression, but who I am is who I am.
Yes. And I love that. And that's kind of been kind of what's helped me on my journey is to be I just kind of, and I thank God for the way I was brought up.
Hmm.
Now my parents did not play. We were in the church, but they allowed us to be free to be ourselves. All three of us are similar, but we also have our different personalities. And so I've never been afraid of being me, who I am. If you see me in the church or at the baseball field, I'm the same person. I may have to change certain things about it. Of course, I'm not going to be like, hey, girl, while the man is up there preaching, the woman of God is up there preaching, because that's not the appropriate time. But I've really fought to not have to be fake and not
Right.
have to be who I am. There are different levels of myself. And by doing that work and finding out who we are or who we want to be, because there are some things that we may not be living up to where we want to be, and that's okay too. And that's where you 2.0 comes in. But I love what you said about getting it down, knowing where you want to be, and going from there. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago in terms of kind of staying true and doing it scared. If you have the vision, then when those times get rocky and rough, you can always go back to what the vision is and who you're supposed to be. I love that. I love that. I love that. So now that we know we've done the work, we've prayed, we've written down what we want to be and who we'd like to see ourselves be in our peak performance and our optimal self. And we've done the digging and we've prayed and we've talked to therapists and whoever else and done whatever we need to do to get there. What's the best way to move forward? Should we be, and I'll speak for myself. I have been in a place sometimes where I found, hey, Chi Chi. I got that from Cassandra. That's her. She called it U 2.0. She allowed us to use it for us as well. But I have been in a place where I've been trying to, like, okay, I've written down what I want to do. I want to lose weight. I want to relaunch this thing. I want to be more intentional about my friendships. I want to cut off work at a certain time. I want to be more present with this or that. And so I have this huge list of who I want to be, who I believe God wants me to be, who I believe I can be. And then it seems a little overwhelming. So,
Most definitely. And it can be overwhelming. And I think that what's really critical, and they talk about this when we're trying to change our habits, because it's not necessarily those outcomes. If we change our habits, we'll change our lives. And we'll be able to make, sizable progression toward who we want to become. But like you were saying, sometimes it can be super overwhelming when you're focusing in on everything you want to change at one time. It reminds me of Dr. John Gottman's research where he's looking at couples, and for effective communication, you don't want to pull up the kitchen sink. You don't want to pull up 10 and 12 issues at once. You want to just focus in on one thing. So with that, I think what's critical is what is the one thing that will make the biggest difference in your life. So maybe, not all the different areas, but what's the one thing about you? If you change this, if you change timeliness, if you change discipline, then that will make a lot of transformation in multiple areas of your life. And it reminds me of the book called The One Thing. It's by one of the writers is the developer of Keller Williams
Okay.
Realty, and they have a lot of success,
Oh
and
yeah.
and then also too the power of habit. And they talk about there's a keystone habit that if you change that keystone habit, it will have a ripple effect in your life. And so really kind of figure out what's that one issue, what's that one area, what's that one keystone piece, because otherwise we'll feel overwhelmed and we'll get discouraged because we won't see progress. And so if we can make, and then from there you build momentum,
Yeah.
it's almost just like, it's almost, and what's the low hanging fruit? We actually need you to be successful. Maybe not try that area of your life where it's like it seems insurmountable. Maybe try something that if I really put forth some effort here, I'll make some progress. And that within itself will be a success step that gives you a little bit more momentum and encouragement, because you're like, oh, I'm making progress. I'm doing a little
Yes.
bit better.
You know what? I love that. And like I said, I'm not a therapist. I've had a lot of roller coasters over the years. And so I think that I just kind of innately learned that the good Lord allowed me to learn it the hard way. But I think that's maybe what compelled me to start that September challenge. Let's pick one thing that can make a big change in our lives. And then what I found though, Cassandra, is by focusing on the one thing, we've only been doing this it's the fourth, we've only been doing it 4 days, but literally my one thing is physical movement. We're going to move 30 minutes a day, but by doing that one thing, I found myself being more mindful of what I'm bringing in. Hey, Britt, that's my sister. And thank you, Latrice. She's a group scribe. She always takes the best notes. So thank you, Latrice. I'm
Yes,
gonna put
thank
that up on the
you.
screen. But for me, I found myself, although I'm focusing on the physical movement subconsciously, or whether I made sure that I'm eating better now. I'm trying to get more rest. I bought vitamins. I'm drinking water. And so, although I'm not focusing on those things, something in me says if I'm moving, I don't want to. I know, girl, you got your headphones in. I try to, so there's this ripple effect, like you said, of I'm more focusing on this, but there are other things that I just know that are going to go in line with that. And so I really, really, really love that. This is kind of an offshoot of that question. So when we do have the motivation, and I know if one of my homegirls is watching, she just loved this video, so I think she's watching. We talked about this, and she was saying that her issue is when she gets motivation, she goes, she beats it, like she ended up losing like 60 some pounds in like 90 days or something crazy, because she was literally eating boiled eggs, drinking water, and working out an hour a day. And of course, we know what happened. It's not a combination. She burned out, you
Mhm.
know. And so how do we find what would you suggest for those of us who say, okay, I've got my one thing that I'm going to do? How do we pursue that without it becoming overkill? And then do we give ourselves, because what I've done is I've gone overkill, and then I want to give myself some grace and say, okay, girl, you can rest today. And then that day becomes 3 or 4 days. And then before you know it, I'm no longer looking for getting what we need to get done. So I hear the babies in the background. I love it. Mama's got to work.
I know.
Got the work life balance. So I have no problem with the babies in the background. But what would you say to that? How do you find the balance between overkill and kind of giving yourself too much grace?
Yes, yes, yes. It's very much so a delicate balance. But one thing that I think that can help you for those times where you don't feel motivated is when you have community. Commitment thrives in community, and so sometimes you need a circle of sisters or a circle of accountability partners who are holding you to the standard that you set, and they are also committed to a similar goal. And I think that within itself is helpful, because sometimes we have a whole bunch of steam going forward, and then we get overwhelmed or something happens or life happens, and we don't have kind of those support networks or those safety nets to kind of grab us when we fall backward and say, no, 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 keep on going, mama.
Right. And I think what I've done is also paced myself too.
Hmm.
The kind of theme for the September challenge is one bite at a time. I don't know if you're familiar with the African proverb, how do you eat
Yes.
an elephant one bite at a time? And so what we are focused on, with Catapult You is kind of incremental steps that will get us there. And you're actually echoing something that Kristen Janae, who she's watching, she said on one of our shows months ago when we're talking about physical fitness and changing that habit was, not trying to bite off more than you can chew, just kind of going incrementally and celebrating those small wins. So I love that. So ladies, if you're out there, don't feel like you need to do it all at once. Focus on that one thing and be honest with yourself about what that thing needs to be. And it may not be the most lofty goal. It may be something, very easy. But we say easy, but remind yourself that that's giving you momentum for the next thing. So I love, love, love that. So we talked about some ways to move forward. But let's be honest, and the reason I love our show is we keep it real about some things that may be some impediments along the way. I think it's important that if we know what some of those, hey, Katie, well, Catherine, she's Catherine now, she's a grown up, but Katie's our friend from UGA. So some of those things, we have stumbling blocks. And so we don't want to prepare to fail, but we also want to prepare the ladies or the people who are watching for the stumbling blocks that may come in the way. So what are some of the things? I know Ty's trying to swallow the whole elephant. It ain't gonna work, sis. We're not created that way. So what are some of the things that we can do, or what are some of the stumbling blocks that we can prepare ourselves for so that when they arise, as they inevitably will, we can know how to adjust and address them. Some things I can think about. One main thing is we'll go in order because I want to kind of give you time to address each of them. So the first thing I would say is negative thinking. Um, and it all starts in the mind. Can you give the ladies some tips on ways to combat the stumbling block of negative thinking as you're trying to get on your road towards becoming you 2.0?
Most definitely. And so you literally have to speak to your thoughts. And literally, honestly, that script has been running through your mind on an unconscious, subconscious level. And so, we have to kind of literally rewire how we see ourselves, and really change that's really sustainable is not just change because you want to change. You actually have to shift your identity. And so you have to no longer, because oftentimes people say, oh, I'm perpetually late. I'm just a late person. Like you have taken that on as part of your identity. And
Yeah.
so you have to literally make some mental shifts and start to shift the way that you see yourself. And then your scripts will fall into line with how you view yourself. And so really kind of going back and looking at where did this messaging come from? What is the root cause to that messaging? Because yes, and I think that's just so critical. And and even from a biblical standpoint, driving those thoughts captive, you have to replace it with the truth about who you are, and not all of this falsehood, and really kind of standing upon that. And rewiring negative scripts is not the easiest thing to do, but you just have to kind of go into auto. You have to be vigilant about it. You have to continue to, whenever you have those thoughts, literally speak to it and speak the opposite, and then you will be able to eventually kind of drive that negative thinking away. And really, we all have a filter, whether it's positive or whether it's negative. And it's our perception is, see, I was just talking about this the other day. There's this whole thing called self-verification.
Okay.
Okay. Now, with self-verification, what we see is that how I view myself, I'm going to look for experiences that are in alignment with how I view myself. Because I want to verify how I see myself. Now, if I see myself positively, I'm going to actually seek out relationships. I'm going to seek out experiences that verify how I see myself. And we were talking about it in respect to an intimate relationship or a romantic relationship. And self-verification is actually even more powerful in a romantic setting, such that people who have a negative self-view actually feel more comfortable with people who see them negatively and treat them negatively because it verifies how they see themselves.
Girl.
So what's really critical is for us to shift our mindset on our own personal identity. And then from there, we'll start to see some of those behavioral changes and go back to the root. Was this at childhood? And then, and then kind of combating that, dealing with that. Maybe even if you need some additional support with kind of rewiring how you see yourself. Because when we're thinking about the neuroplasticity of the brain, the brain is still malleable. Granted, the older we get, we kind of do get stuck in our ways. But the other piece of that, when we're thinking about neuroplasticity, the brain is literally shaped by experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
During early development, when we're thinking about the infant's brain, that brain, the very architecture of that child's brain is being shaped by how that caregiver is engaging with him or her, the circuitry, the synapses, what's being hardwired, right? And so even neuroplasticity is still at work when we're older, and what creates neuroplasticity is how our actions,
Yes.
our choices, and our experiences.
Yes.
And that's going to actually change the very architecture of your brain.
Yes.
And so what you want to do is you want to create choices that are in alignment with who you see yourself becoming.
Come
You
on.
want to create experiences that are in alignment with who you see becoming. And eventually the very architecture on a biological, physical level will shift.
Come on. Look, you can tell you preaching. Look, you got the saints ready to shout. But I love it because it literally it's work, but it's so worth it. And I
Yeah.
don't know if y'all are in the book club, but this is a quick plug for the book club. We are actually reading Dr. Carolyn Leaf's Think, Grow, Succeed. And that's what she talks about. She talks about changing the mind, changing literally the physiology of your brain through the way that you experience, the way that you act, and you're shifting. So I love that you're helping somebody out there. And for those of you who are watching, please share it with the women in your life. Men too, they need it too. But share it with the women in your life. I want this people to see this because she's talking real, real good. And I think that helps in terms of some of the other things that we talked about as well. Unforgiveness, fear of failure, past relationships. All of that to me is wrapped up in that thinking about the way you think about yourself. Is that an accurate reflection?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. It's so, so key. Mm-hmm.
Lady Chanel said the Saints are not ready. I understand. I understand. Well, that was beautiful, and I love it because it's so funny when we talk about a couple weeks ago we talked about collective grief. We talked about planning for your life. There is this theme of the mind and getting the mind together, and once you get your mind intact, everything else follows. And it seems very foo-foo. It does. It seems very, for those who haven't lived it, for those who are not. And here's the thing: yes, the word speaks about it, and science is just now catching up to the Bible.
That's right. That's right.
But the beautiful thing is, people who may not necessarily believe the word, you got to believe in science, and science is showing that that is actually true. Your brain is going to change and bend. And if y'all are not reading the book, I'm telling you, it's a little slow, but it's great in terms of developing your mind and getting it together. That's the science part. That's right, Amanda. So I love that we have these tips, and it sounds like the biggest tip that you've talked about are number one, accountability, and number two, shifting your mind. And I love that. And I'll just share this in terms of accountability to yourself. Because what I found is
Mhm.
yes, it is on Audible, Britt, thanks. I love accountability to others, and I love having accountability groups. Matter of fact, I thrive on it. It's helped me through knowing that we're doing this challenge. Last night I was so exhausted, but I dare not be a hypocrite. That's one thing I'm not. And so because I said I was going to do it, I got up and did it. So I do believe in accountability. But also the accountability to myself was, this this challenge, you pick this one activity so that you could become a better you. Now, I didn't make a weight loss goal for the 30 days. I didn't make any kind of, thing, but my goal was to be physically active for 30 minutes straight for 30 days. And so yesterday it was the group that was motivating me, but some other times it may be me. And so I think that if you are not like me and you don't mind being a hypocrite and saying something and doing something else, then be real with yourself. Choose the things, and that goes back to identity. Choose the
Mhm.
things in your life that will make you a better person. And what we talked about with Kristen and I, when we're talking about the physical fitness aspect of it, it may not be something that you necessarily love, but it's going to be better for you. And
Yes.
that's the adult and the maturity, right?
Yes, it is, Candace. And I love the definition by Miles Monroe, and he used to say that the personal standard that you keep for yourself is self-discipline. And
Mm.
self-discipline is the gateway to the life that you really want.
Yeah.
And so having those personal standards that you're keeping yourself accountable to, I think that's really critical. I mean, I think sometimes people can't make promises to other people because they don't keep the promises they make to themselves.
Mm.
And so, I think that is just as important as accountability is to have, that intrinsic desire to say, yes, I'm gonna hold myself to these standards that I've made for myself.
Right. And what I love about that, accountability does not mean not giving yourself grace, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that we don't want to come into the place where, because I've been there where I have literally said, this is what I want to do. And I'm not even talking about, I'm a Christian. So I'm not talking about spiritual sin and that. I'm just talking about things that I say, if I don't do this, I'm not going to go to hell for it, but I may not be a better person for it, right? If I
Mhm.
don't stick to this diet, it's going to negatively impact me. And so what I had to do was kind of break myself from the idea that I had to be perfect. And even with the 30-day challenge, of course, we picked the 30 days because we want to start making better habits, but we're not seeking perfection. We're seeking progression. And that's kind of,
Yes.
that's what we're trying to get to. We're
It's
trying to get to the
yes,
progression of
yes,
better than what we were before.
yes.
So y'all,
That feels good.
yes, let's motivate, because I'll be honest, sometimes the old me would see things like this and it would get motivating, but then it would still be in the back of my mind. And it was because of the things I had told myself I needed to do. It became still overwhelming. As opposed to inspiring, it became overwhelming. So, ladies, we're not talking about perfection. We want progression. And U 2.0 is about being authentic, having your identity, and knowing where you're going. So, I love, love, love that. Let's talk a little bit about some things that I've seen has been an impediment for some people. It's been me in my past, and I'm sure there are some people that are watching. What about certain relationships, your core circle? It may be your past relationship, it may be your current relationship. How important is that on your journey to U 2.0? I know that the relationship therapist has a lot to say about that, but come on, break it
It
down
is
for
everything. It is everything. Just like Jim Rohn says that you are the culmination of the five closest people to you, right? And that is so true. So with that, it's like the Michelangelo effect. The people who are closest to you, they impact you the most. So as we know, Michelangelo was an amazing artist, did the Sistine Chapel, just beautiful, created the David. But what he said was that I do not create beauty.
it.
I just reveal beauty. I,
Mm,
I take I take my chisel and I just use it to reveal the beauty underneath. And the
mm,
Michelangelo effect posits that the people who are closest to you, they're the ones with the chisel. And
mm.
they are revealing the
Say
beauty.
that again. The people
So
closest to you are the ones with the chisel.
are the ones with the chisel. Who are you giving your chisel to?
Mm,
And so either they can utilize that chisel to help reveal the beauty in their association because they're close to you. And the people who are closest to you, so romantic relationship, a marriage, those are the closest ones. And
mhm.
so those relationships impact you the most. And so you want to be discerning about who you allow in close proximity to you. And
Yes.
sometimes we have people in close proximity to us that we know they shouldn't be there, unfortunately. And so we want to be able to um, give our chisels to people who can handle us delicately.
Yes.
Handle us delicately. It's like this is a habitude. It's like So people closest to you, they give you feedback, right? They give you feedback, and feedback is needed for us to grow, right? So feedback is needed for us to grow, right? I do it at the end of my classes every time. I'm like, okay, what did I do well? What can I improve on? So the people closest to us are giving us feedback, and one habitude, it gives a difference between a vampire versus a surgeon.
Mm.
And when it comes to feedback, you want a surgeon. So a vampire is somebody who comes up middle of
Slow
the night.
down, girl, because you're giving us some good nuggets. So
And
when we
I'm
talk,
okay, look,
so we're talking about,
let me pull my computer and plug it in.
okay, don't leave us, girl, because you're doing good. So while you're doing that, I think I heard you say that your closest circle is the number one. They're chiseling away at you. Some people are chiseling to find beauty, and they're doing it delicately. Some folk are literally using it as an axe and chopping
Yes,
away at you.
yes. So
And so, go ahead.
you want to be mindful of who you're giving your chisel to, right? And so when we're thinking about feedback, if you want to go to the next level, you need to know what you need to improve. And the people around you, they have experience with you, so they're probably really good. But you can have a vampire or you can have a surgeon. I would prefer a surgeon. But a vampire comes up on you in the middle of the night. It's dark, right? You don't know when they're coming. And when they come, they sink their teeth in you and they trying to take blood. They're trying to, they suck the very life out of you, right? And
Right.
so you don't want to have those type of people close to you, right? Because that could literally suck the life out of you. But you want to be in relationship with people who are surgeons. When they give you feedback, they spent years on how to approach this. They use a scalpel, and then it's a very small cut, and then they sew back up, and they want to see you heal. They're not
Yeah.
trying to suck the life out of you. They want to see you heal. And
Come
so
on.
the people who you have closest around you, are they vampires or are they surgeons?
And Brittany, I love it. You know, the vampire, not only do they suck, well, they turn you into a vampire.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. Oh my goodness, I was
That's so
that's right.
true. You don't want to be lifeless. And
Yes.
that's, you see what I love the ladies, I love our tribe, but that's so true. Because if you allow these people, and even with Catapult You, my baby, I'm very careful about who I share to impart. And I'm not above criticism. I want to hear criticism, but I'm very selective about who I ask for feedback, because I want to make sure that it's going to be constructive in nature and uplifting for the general body, And so I love that. I love that. So for those of us who have these relationships, that we want to be stronger, what are some ways? Don't cry, Pookie. We got it, girl. That's what we're here for. What are some ways that we can get rid of some of these vampires? And maybe how do we had a video before about finding your people. So that's good in terms of finding those surgeons. But how do we get rid of those vampires aside from, calling me for a divorce? But let's not have to go there, right? Let's say
Yes, yes. Hopefully it's not your spouse.
exactly.
I
Let's
want you to work on that one.
yes,
You're
let's
going to
hope it's
turn
your
them
spouse,
into
but if it's a friend or a colleague or anything like that, what are some ways that we can kind of work on those relationships to be our best self? Because it's obvious from what you shared that that's a huge part of our path to getting to you 2.0.
most definitely. And I think honestly, then we just have to recheck proximity.
Okay.
And I think sometimes with forgiveness, I think forgiveness is another key element to going to the next level as an individual. And then we can probably get to that in just a moment. But you have to create boundaries now. And certain conversations maybe you can't have with certain people any longer because you know the rabbit hole that it's going to go into.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to kind of honestly spend your time that way. So certain conversations with certain people may just kind of almost be off limits.
Right.
Certain levels of quality time have to be retracted. And because it is literally shaping our lives. I think sometimes we think it's very innocent,
Mm.
but it literally is shaping our lives, especially if it's someone who's super close to us.
Yeah. I love what Latrice said. Our relationships needs to service us, And I'll say for a lot of women, and I've been there as well, not necessarily to the point where and here's the thing about some vampires, some you don't even realize that they're draining the life out of you, you know? And so for us, I think it's very important and critical to really evaluate your relationships and where you are and how do you get to the next level. And some relationships may just take setting those boundaries, right? Some people are good people, but we haven't done the work to set the boundaries of our expectations, or we haven't done the work to make sure that they understand what we will or will not accept from them, you know. Now I'll say this, and I know we have a marriage counselor and a divorce attorney on the video. I am not a proponent of divorce at all.
Oh, me either. I'm a marriage counselor too.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm talking about you. I'm not a marriage
Uh-uh.
But I will say that if there are some things that are literally unhealthy, and a therapist will help you see the difference between a toxic relationship and one that can be salvaged with some work and homework, right? Is that correct?
Yes, yes, yes. Someone can definitely help you discern what that is. And I really like what Brittany said. You know, it is our responsibility to teach people how to treat us. Sometimes they don't know. Sometimes they don't know they're offending us. Sometimes this is just their style, and they're probably wonderful people, but they just don't know how to handle you. And you can teach them, and then it's up. And then you can see how it goes forward after that. But I really love that piece.
Yes. And let's talk really quickly about a fear of failure, and then we're going to move on to some resources. We had a whole show about doing it scared, but I feel like some people don't try because they are afraid to fail. You know, people say that there's a fear of success. While I do believe that to be true, a lot more people I see are not trying because they're afraid to fail. And can you speak to a little bit to that? Like, what are some ways that women and men who are watching can get over that fear of failure so that they can at least try to become the best version of themselves?
Most definitely. I say that sloppy progress is better than no progress at all.
Oh,
And
come on, girl. Say that again.
yeah, I say that sloppy progress is better than no progress at all. It doesn't have to be perfect from the beginning, and eventually you'll gain some momentum with that sloppy progress, and then you'll go to the next level. And then, okay, let me scramble, put it together. Then you'll go to the next level. And you don't want to wait for all things to be perfect before you move, because otherwise you'll be waiting forever.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, your life is passing by.
Mhm.
How many of us we 3 years ago we knew what we were supposed to be doing, but didn't
Yeah.
move on it. And because we didn't know how to do it perfectly, look at there, 3 years have gone by.
Mhm.
And so time is continuing to go by. That's a life principle. Time and
Yep.
change is going to continue to go by, but I want to harness that change.
Right.
I want to direct that change. And even though I can't control everything, I can't control the road. I can't control if it's raining or if it's pouring, but I can control getting in my car and moving forward.
Yes. Yes.
I may not be a perfect driver, but I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to move forward.
Yes. I love that. I love that. And this is so funny because it's speaking to me. Literally, when I said the 30, I'm bringing back to the challenge because the other day, talking about sloppy progress, I was supposed to be working out and I was too tired to do a class. I couldn't muster up any strength, but I sat there for 30 minutes and I was just dancing. I was cha-cha sliding. I was doing the what do you call it? The wobble with no music, mind you, but I was doing it for 30 minutes. And I'm sure it looked crazy, but at the end of the day, I had determined in myself that I would do it. And so that's an example of sloppy progress. But guess what? I got it done. I got the 30 minutes. My body felt better after moving. So I love that. And I love what Stephanie said, that sometimes fear is masked under perfectionism. And
Yes,
I've seen people say
ma'am.
that I don't want to launch this business because I don't have the exact store that I need. Or I don't want to put my website out there because I don't have this or that. And I've been there. I don't want to put this video up because I know that I'm country and sometimes I speak quickly and my words will run into each other, you know. And so we have to kind of break that desire to be perfect and just know that I love this. That was awesome. Sloppy progress is better than no progress because that's what you're moving forward. And what I love about what I've seen in my own life And I would not lie to y'all. When I'm taking a step towards what I know I'm supposed to be doing, whether it was personally, whether it was in a relationship, professionally, I have literally seen God open up amazing doors. It's
Yes.
almost like He's like, okay, you're finally doing what you need to be doing. It ain't perfect. It ain't even close to where you really need to be, but I'm going to honor that you were obedient enough to see how important your health is for me. So I'm going to make the next run easier for you, or I'm going to honor. Yes, Yolanda, I don't know her, but she says God will perfect that which concerns us. That's in the book. So come on now. And so we're moving towards that and it comes together, whether it's been in Catapult You. We literally set out to do it and then a pandemic hit and we still were blessed by God to sell out the event because it wasn't perfect, but we rolled it out, we did it, and we moved towards, and we had it some progress. So I love, love, love. Sloppy progress is better than no progress. So now
Mhm.
you have motivated us, right? We know how we're going to get over the hump. We've set forth our identity. We have decided that we're going to move forward and figured out the best way to figure what we're going to do with the one thing that's going to make the most amount of change. We have prepared ourselves for the stumbling blocks and we're getting accountability partners. We're shifting our mindset. We're putting some forgiveness in there. We're changing our core circle. And now we need some other resources to kind of give us that extra push. What are some things that you can give us ladies that we may need to either download, read, or tap into as a resource to give us that extra push to get to you 2.0?
Okay, so I am a marriage and family therapist. So if you are in a relationship and or if you're married, or well, I guess if you're married per se or engaged, I have the marriage planning checklist whereby you create your vision, your mission, and then you talk about 10 critical areas of your marriage, and you kind of vision cast for it, and you kind of create some goals for it, just kind of as a way to kind of get you started. And that's on upliftingrelationships.com.
Okay.
It's a free resource.
I love it. I love it. And there's also the just therapy in general,
Yes, oh, yes, 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 yes. Most definitely. I'm a counselor too.
counselor too.
Individuals.
But also, of course, you want to talk to Dr. Cassandra. But there's also therapists out there. Several therapists watching today. I know
Mhm.
Lady Chanel is watching, Stephanie's watching. But if you want to just find your own, there's therapyforblackgirls.com is a good place.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then I think Psychology Today.
Yes.
I really believe in therapy, but I also believe in to me, a big thing that has kept me grounded has been the spiritual aspect of my life. Now,
Yes,
Catapult You
definitely.
is not a necessarily Christian company, but I am the founder and I believe in Jesus. And so
Me
for me,
too.
that prayer and connection has been a huge grounding, knowing that there's something bigger than me pushing it along, uh, and having that kind of undercurrent has been a great resource. So I would love to share that resource with you. Also, for some people, let's be real, getting to you 2.0 may require educational commitments, right?
Right.
People, you may, if you want to be a lawyer, you may have to go and get your GED and get your bachelor's and get your JD, and don't be afraid of that. Can we talk a little bit about like not being afraid to do things at 30, 40 that people did in their 20s? Can you share a
Yeah.
little bit about that?
It's never too late, is the thing. And I think that's also just another mindset shift as well. And I think we're always going to be students. We're perpetual students. There's something else for us to learn and grow in. And this is your life. This may be even more important than that algebra class that you took at college. This is knowledge for your life,
Mhm.
for progressing you to the next level and changing and shaping your character, which is going to impact you in every area of your life. And I think that's definitely super, super critical. And I'm in agreement with you, Candace. I think honestly, the crux of it all, I'm a believer as well, is your personal relationship with Christ. And if we're thinking about the Michelangelo effect, if you are in close proximity with him every day, in fellowship with him every day, it's inevitable you're going to change.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And
Yeah.
one other resource in line with what you said about accountability and support is we already have a tribe that's ready made for you.
Yes, yes, yes.
If you're a lady, now if you're a gentleman, I'm sure there's somebody out there for y'all. But if you are a lady, We already have one resource that's already there for you, which is our Catapult You group. Love you too, Larissa. Larissa saying she loves us both. Uh,
Love you too.
for you who are trying to figure out where you want to be, number one, we just started the challenge. It's not too late to join the challenge. And so we're doing a specific self-care September challenge. I'm gonna try to add that link for the group. It's very simple. What we did was we chose one thing, and I promise you, we did this before Cassandra and I even talked, right? This is so crazy how it all came together because Cassandra and I we had talked about doing the show a while ago, but we didn't set the agenda until yesterday. But
Mhm.
the challenge was rolled out 3 days ago. So that just shows you how everything is aligning properly. And what we're doing is we're choosing one thing in our lives that's going to cause a huge change for us. And we're going to focus on doing that thing for the next 30 days for the month of September. And it's so funny because a lot of the ladies were saying that do I have to pick just one? You know, and I encourage them to also pick one because we're seeking progress and not perfection. And I think if we can focus on that one thing, then we can kind of, like we said, the snowball effect going forward. So I just shared the Facebook group for you. If you join that group, you will inevitably see that we are all about supporting each other. We have the challenges, and every week on Monday evenings, we're going to do a Facebook Live where we just talk about where we are in our progress on those goals. So you got the accountability there, you got the group. Another thing that I want to share with you all is and I put the comment for the group in the comments. So the link is in the comments as well. I also want to share that we are having a retreat. It's our signature event. We have it. We just relaunched Catapult You this year. This will be our second retreat where we're going away to Stone Mountain, where we can just love on each other and breathe, and take off those weights of the world and take off the banners and take off the cape that says we have to be woman and coming together as a unit. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to put the dates up. It's going to be October 16th through the 18th, and that's going to be in the Stone Mountain Evergreen Resort. And so I'm so excited about that. I'm going to put that link for the registration in the comments. If you are in the group, you have a 5% discount on tickets. So just know that we want y'all to come and join us. And I'm going to share, of course, our lovely guest, Cassandra, Dr. Cassandra. I'm so proud of her. We went to UGA together,
Yeah.
y'all. Here is her information. So upliftingrelationships.com is her website. If you want to find more information about her, I'm sure you said the marriage checklist is on there, and other resources for couples are on there. And you do counsel individuals as well, or you on? Okay, so that's great. So if you want to try to get with her, that's awesome. You can follow her page. She has an amazing relationship show. When do you do the show, Doc? Is it Wednesdays or?
Yeah, Wednesday nights usually around 9:30. It's usually really short, maybe like 15 minutes or so.
Yes, but I love it because it's always, this is why I was like, I need her on my show because it's always good nuggets that will help give you that midday motivation. So I love what you're doing.
Thank
So make sure
you.
y'all
You
follow her
too.
on Facebook and follow her on Instagram as well, Dr. Cassandra. She is amazing, 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 a wealth of knowledge. Larissa said UGA proud. Absolutely. So I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you all have been edified by this. I want to end by saying that you all can be exactly who you were called to be. The world has told you you can't. People may have told you you can't. You may have told yourself that you cannot. But the reality is, if you feel it in yourself, there's a reason you feel it. There's a reason you feel led to go back to school. There's a reason you feel led to spend more time with your children. There's a reason you feel led to take a break. There's a reason you feel led to do a number of these things. And of course, we know that the heart can be a little conceiving. What is it? Not conceiving. Yes, conceiving. The heart can be a little conceiving. So I'm not just saying follow your heart no matter what. What I am saying, if you have this knowing thing that's pushing you forward and pushing you to do something great, don't deny that and don't play small. Surround yourself with women like us who are going to push you to your next level. Come to our retreat in the fall so you can let your hair down and be immersed in it. And I can't wait to see you all soon, Doc. I thank you again for our
Thank you so
show.
much.
Thank you to the tribe. Y'all have been amazing with your comments. Y'all share. We're about to end the show. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, Amanda. She's one
Yes,
of our
thank
faithful supporters.
you.
Oh, that actually this evening. Thank you. I love my sister because she knew I was wrong. What did we say? Our closest five people. She is definitely one of them. She was not gonna let me in this live with the wrong word. Thank you, Buka. I love you. So I'll say this: that Amanda's comment reminded me that we are reading the book Think, Learn, Succeed
Oh,
by Dr. Karen Leaf, and our
so
book club meeting is open to everybody who want in the women, only women, but you can join the group. We're going to have a Zoom meeting on Tuesday the 8th at 7 p.m. You do not have to have finished the book to join the book club. So keep that in mind. But I want y'all to read that book because a lot of the stuff that, thank you, Lady Chanel, a lot of the
mhm.
stuff that the heart is deceitful above all things. Come on, Chris. That's my sis. Um, there are a lot of things that Cassandra talked about today that is literally in that book, and it's actually breaking down the way to do it. What I love about Cassandra was she's already motivated us to change our mind and our mindset, but the book gives us tangible, practical ways to actually do that. So
Yes,
download the book. It's on Audible, as Brittany said earlier. It's on Amazon as well. And if you haven't quite read the book, but you want to join the ladies, join the Catapult You group. And on Tuesday at 7, we will be having the book club. It's going to be on Zoom. So it ain't going to be me looking in the video. We're going to have a good conversation together. And the one last thing I'll say is my sister's so sweet. She just texted me the scripture. See, I love that. My core is tight. Okay,
mhm.
group is the bomb. And let me say this because I often, and I know we're a little bit over time, but I want to say this because I have seen women say, well, you kind of have built in sisters. Like I have Kristen and Brittany. If I don't have nobody watching my show, I know those two are going to watch my show every week. Them and Melanie Danielle, she's one of my best friends. And they said, well, you were born with these sisters, or you were born with friends, and your personality is this, and your personality is that. But I had to be purposeful about cultivating those relationships. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago about finding your people, being purposeful about making your circle the bomb, and being purposeful about saying, okay, I love what Latrice said about reclaiming her time, cutting off those that don't need to be a part of your circle, getting them out of the way. So please, I have a lot of female women friends in my life that are amazing. And that's because I have been purposeful about seeking those people out. And I've been purposeful about cutting out those that didn't deserve to be there. And you, my sister, are one of them. We don't talk every day. We don't even talk
Oh,
every month. But I'm so thankful to God that you're in my life. And I can't wait to see the wonderful things that you're doing. Okay.
oh, thank you. Same to you, Candace. Thank you
Sis.
for.
All right, ladies. Well, we'll see y'all next week, same time, same place. And I'll see y'all for those who are in the challenge. I'll see y'all Monday for the challenge check in and Tuesday for the book club. Take care.